Whew, I'm so sorry when that happens that my video has stopped. So I'm going to continue where we just left off in the story of the Gruesome Green Witch. The chapter is, this is part 2 of the chapter of the party at the bottom of the pool. Now, the girls are being tested because the Gruesome Green Witch thought that they would turn into spies and go and tell everything about where the mermaids are and all of that. Just tell all. So, I'm really sorry about that, but here we go. Let's back up a little bit so we'll be kind of, overlapping a little bit, but we have time. "Shall we give them the acid test?" asked one of the seahorses. "It shall be done," roared Neptune. The circle of dancers had finally come to a swaying halt, and all were watching what was going on. "Stand on your heads," neighed the other seahorse. Puffin and Mole gave each other frightened looks. "Go ahead," said T. "It is easier under water." It was a cinch. They knelt down, put their heads in the sand, and up went their legs. "Now, recite the Jabberwocky." That's a famous story from, what is it? Alice in Wonderland. It's a poem, very old poem. I think it was in Alice in Wonderland. Even it might be through one of the other stories but anyways. "Now recite the Jabberwocky," said the first seahorse. "'Twas brilling and the silly toves," murmured Puffin. "Did gyre and gimble in the wave," added Mole. They got through all right. Still upside down, Puffin looked all over at the coral tree. The Gruesome Green Witch had disappeared. Now all she knows, Now I know. She knows I saw her back," thought Puffin. "I'll bet she really has it in for me." "Cleared," roared Neptune. "No one harboring spy secrets would have room in his or her mind for the Jabberwocky too. Welcome to Oceania, little girls," asked Mr. T to take you to your rock candy grotto, where the lollipops and candy canes are especially good for your teeth. Mole and Puffin stood right side up and swam over to T. Having first made floaty curtsy to Neptune, it was hard to imagine the rock candy grotto. The very pebbles on the floor were delicious, lemony hard candies. There were streamers of taffy. Brown seaweed turned out to be flat chocolate-covered cookies. There was a big white marshmallow bush, excuse me, and a veined rock in the middle that was made of vanilla and chocolate ice cream. The stalagmites were mint green meringue and stalactites mocha icing. Of course, there were many colored lollipops growing on the seashell-bordered flower beds. Slipping slowly over a rock wall was a maple syrup waterfall. "The more you eat," said T, "the fewer cavities you will have. Oh, bliss." Now, here's a little teeny picture of a fish serving some food, a tray of food. Since we just got started on this side and only into 4 minutes, I could do the next chapter, and that will help us along the way a little bit, because we still have about this much more left to go, a few more chapters. We're on Matt Meets the Gruesome Green Witch. Oh dear, oh my. Remember what will happen. That doesn't sound very good at all. So we're on chapter 9, and we have 12 more. After this one. So let's go ahead and do this one. Okay? Since we just got started. Doesn't show anything right there. Just some little mushrooms again, just like it does in the other chapter. We are going to teach Matt how to concentrate, said Puffin to her mother the following Saturday. Mole was up for the weekend again because both girls had begged so hard, so sweetly, so piteously, and had had such good marks in school that their mothers, weakened and bewildered, decided that they must be good for each other. Out of the mouths of babes, said Mr. Slater incomprehensibly. Why not grasp at a 10-year-old straw? But don't forget, Matt, tomorrow you will be 18, and if you don't get back into school, it will be the U.S. Army for you. Matt looked extremely uncomfortable. Puffin looked appalled. Tomorrow is Matt's birthday. Why didn't anyone tell me? Well, we weren't planning on a very big celebration, said Mr. Slater sternly. Puffin's mother winked at her, which meant she'd brought a present for Puffin to give Matt. But that's not what Puffin was worrying about. He's got to do it all in one session, she answered to Mole. We are just under the wire, just barely. Whew. Because when he gets 18, then he's an adult, and he should not be going in there. That's what they're worried about, isn't it? So Matt let himself be led upstairs into the green room by two little girls. He had put up all his books into Puffin's maroon school bag, except for the big heavy one that Mole was carrying in hers. Puffin opened the closet door. A fluffy baby owl flew out, circled the room, and flew into the closet again. Whoo! Whoo! Who are you? It said. Good grief! Exclaimed Matt. It is a tunnel. And it is all ferny and furry and leafy, and those are bluebells. Come on, Matt, they laughed and dragged him in. You can't bring grown-ups into the magic forest, screamed T as soon as he spotted Matt unfolding himself from the entrance of the leafy green tunnel. T was jumping up and down on his toadstool, absolutely frantic with disapproval. I don't know why I haven't vanished before your eyes. It is against the rules. T, relax, laughed Puffin, although she was a little worried at the trumpet's violent reaction. This is my brother Matt. He is only 17 until tomorrow, that is. What happens tomorrow? Asked T suspiciously. Then Matt will be 18. I get it, said T. But that is cutting it awfully close, isn't it? Can you prove your age? He asked Matt, looking at him as one looks at the Empire State Building. The Empire State Building is really tall. Where is my junior driving license? Said Matt, taking out his wallet. License to drive what? People crazy? Retorted T. Drive a car, said Matt. But there are no cars in the magic forest except for toads. But it shows my age. I don't expect to drive. T, broke in Puffin. If Matt doesn't learn all his history and all his math today, he will fail his exams and be thrown out of school. Then they'll take him away and make him a soldier. That's why we had to bring him today. It is positively his last chance. T was so upset he wasn't making any sense. The police bucks were much more matter of fact, and after they checked Matt's driving license, they waved a hoof and told him, "You are okay until 1 a.m. tonight, which is tomorrow, and which is the hour at which you are born. Enjoy your visit." Merlin was most interested in Matt's case. "I want to cram for 2 exams," Matt told him. "Ancient history and math." "Cram?" asked Merlin. "What is that?" "You mean stuff your head full of facts, like stuffing your tummy full of food? What a way to get indigestion. All those facts jammed in there without having been chewed on or thought over or understood. That is no way to approach an exam. Now come into the concentration cave where your thoughts will fly about as freely and surely as bats, never colliding, always flying home to the point. There you will learn what you need to know by using your head, not cramming it." Matt and Merlin disappeared behind the vines and veiled the entrance to the cave, and the 2 girls sat down in the middle of the fairy ring, which was a circle of tender green grass that you sometimes see in the woods. And, you know that there are that is where fairies dance when the moon is full. "I'll make a daisy chain," said Puffin. "I'll make a buttercup rope," said Mole. They were busy weaving the flowers that they didn't notice someone standing a little above the birch trees watching them. Presently, Mole said, "I feel something burning in the back of my neck." And she rubbed it as hard as though a mosquito had stung her. Puffin looked up. There from between the slime black and white tree trunks, she saw the Gruesome Green Witch, staring with her great green eyes in Mole's back. "Watch it," she whispered. They decided to do vacuuming out there, and it was getting kind of loud. "Watch it," she whispered. "The Gruesome Green Witch is trying to cast a spell over you." Mole whirled around. "Go away!" she cried. "Puffin," she lowered her voice, "we've got to get her away from here before Matt sees her. She'll cast a spell over him, all right, and you know what will happen." They shuddered, remembering the troll's goofy expression as he followed the Gruesome Green Witch into her tree trunk and to his fate. They both got up and stood facing the witch. "Scram! Scoot! Go away!" they screamed bravely together. The Gruesome Green Witch trembled all over as though she were a reflection in green water, but she did not move. "Tea!" called Puffin. "Come quick and help us." Tea appeared right away from under the large toadstool where he had been napping. He took in the situation at once. Obviously, the witch had seen Matt go into the concentration camp with Merlin. What a catch! She would not give up easily. "What luck," said T, spying the daisy and buttercup ropes the girls had made. Garlands made by young girls who loved the witch's intended victim. If you can throw them over your head and bind her arms with them, they will be stronger than chains. She will not be able to move or cast a spell over your brother." Just then the vines parted and Matt came out, his arms loaded with books and a happy smile on his face. "I really think I'm going to make it," he said with awe in his voice. "That Merlin is a wizard." "No, he's not. He's a magician," said Puffin. As she spoke, she saw Matt's expression change. His eyes widened and his lips parted in a smile of quite another nature. There's no pictures for this one. He looked like a kid who spies a counter full of candy, but alas, he was a big kid who was seeing the gorgeous side of the Gruesome Green Witch. "Who," he breathed, "is that beautiful creature?" "Don't look at her! Don't look at her!" begged Puffin and Mole, but it was too late. Matt let his book slide right out of his arms and started walking toward the Gruesome Green Witch like someone in a trance. Meanwhile, she was gliding backward through the trees, beckoning and beckoning. "Quick!" squeaked Tree. "Throw your garlands!" Puffin and Mole tore after the witch. Mole threw the buttercup rope like a lasso. It missed. Puffin ran so fast that she got ahead of the witch, jumped up onto a velvety border next to a big oak tree, and stood waiting to drop her daisy chain right over the witch's head. She saw the gruesome, rotting back coming toward her and through the trees. She crouched ready. Then something weird happened. Neither the witch nor Matt emerged from behind the oak tree, but all the leaves in the forest gave a shuddering rustle, and she heard an echo of Matt's voice saying, "I'm coming, I'm coming. I'd love to come for tea." The next chapter is How to Make Magic Decalcifying Potion. So, we're going to end it there because we just have about 3 more chapters, I think it is. Remember that this book was written and published, in, I think it's 1969. I was about 10 years old when I read this book. And throughout so many years, I don't know why, but I remembered it when I was grown up and an adult, and I wanted to read it for Ginger one time, or I just wanted to read it again. It's been like quite a few years before Ginger was born that I wanted this book, because it was something I remembered from my childhood. Well, I went to the library, several of them, looking and looking and looking for it. And finally I just asked, and they said that it was no longer in print and that they removed it from the libraries. I'm not really sure on the history of it. I haven't been able to find out any more information than that. But sometimes they're just out of print, don't want to print it anymore. It's not popular. It wasn't getting read. I don't know if you're enjoying this book, but you really can't find it unless you want to pay probably anywhere from over $75 to $100 or more for this book. I'm not trying to sell it, tell you go out and buy this book so you could read it. All I'm saying is that here I'm reading it, and here it's going to be on YouTube in my little videos. Now, I believe we're in part 4, or 5. I'll have to go back and look at all my videos. But this one, remember, it has 2 parts together. So I'm just going to say part whatever 5, let's say, A and B. So A will be the first part that you look at, and I'll put these little brackets around it, so you part A, and then part B will be the second part that you look for. And in part A, I'll leave a link after I get them all done. I'll leave a link on part A for you to go to part B. Okay? Sounds like a plan? So, if you're starting here with this one, you need to stop already and go back to the beginning, which will be part 1. And if I have to split them apart from now on, if I do split them apart, part whatever, I'll put part A and part B, okay? That way you'll know. It'll make it easier when you're looking for things. I'll go through and make sure that if I haven't, I don't think I've cut any of these parts up like that before, but I'll take a look and make sure, because I don't really want anybody to get confused about all of this. And I hope that you've been enjoying the story of the Gruesome Green Witch. It is quite possibly the only known recorded video about it. I haven't looked, but maybe there is other people doing it. I don't know. Anyways, that's why she was mentioning some different characters in there. Probably she's just throwing them in because she remembers reading about them when she was a little girl, Patricia Coffin. So this is Witch Nikki for today. And I will be seeing you again when you come to visit me. Thank you so much for being with me today, everybody who has joined us, especially Kayleen, Julia, Rihanna, Jordan, River, Ginger, Kennedy, Kaylee, and Aiden. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you people being here. Now, I think I was mentioning, remember, book 1, if you want book 1, we could just pick out a few here and there. Haunted America, or, yeah, I think it was. And then this one here, Cinnamon, about a tiger and a girl. So, let me know. And if you have another choice or a request, put that down there too. So that's three choices, and number 4, something else. You could just put something else, and if you know what it is called, tell me, and I'll try to find it in the library so I can read it for you. How about that? If not, I'm just going to keep selecting the books as they come and go, and we'll do that. Just do that. But I want you guys to communicate with me and make me feel like I'm doing the right thing. Give me some thumbs up. It's not to become popular. I want to know that I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I am. I'm communicating with River, who is my grandson. That's why I mention him all the time. And Ginger. They are my grandchildren, and I'll always mention them. And I'll mention this list also. And I'll add to it in time if people let me know that they're watching my channel here for the stories. But otherwise, and I do just like to know that I'm doing a good job. If you make comments down below, please be nice about it, because I'm kind of sensitive. I like to have good feedback, but if you'd like to say, I'd like to hear this kind of story, or I didn't like that one, or whatever, that's fine. And if you don't like the Gruesome Green Witch, just wait And pretty soon you'll see that we've finished this book, and I won't be reading it anymore. Now, I've showed 3 different kinds, and I'm kind of deciding whether I'm going to keep up with the haunted, spooky ones. If people put down below, don't read any more spooky ones, that's enough for now, then fine. I'll just go and select what I have and read a few here and there. I really like the idea of reading this one. It's really pretty. Look at that beautiful tiger and that little girl. And I kind of remember about this story a little bit. A long time ago, there lived a princess named Cinnamon. Cinnamon had pearls for eyes. Cinnamon did not talk. Her father and mother offered many riches to anyone who could get Cinnamon to speak. One day, a tiger came to the palace, armed with knowledge of the world, and everything changed. Now, doesn't that make you want to know a little bit more about that story? Well, let's see. But of course, I might go ahead and do this, but I'll do it in a different way. I will put Haunted America in the title, so you know if I'm going to be reading this and it's something you don't want to listen to, then don't listen to it. It's okay. I won't get mad. But there's some people out there who do urban discoveries and adventures, and they go around, so they might want to know where some of these places are. So I might go ahead and do that when I have time, but it might be for the more grown-up people who might like stuff like that and not get scared. So this is Witch Nikki. Thank you so much for being there for me. Give me a little thumbs up for liking, and be sure to put some comments down there so I know that people are listening. But it's okay if you don't. I really understand, because some of you might not have a YouTube channel, so you might just come and look at stuff and you can't comment or leave a thumbs up. So I understand that. But I am on Facebook and Instagram, so if you want to, and I also have if you look at my channel, About Me, you can find my email address and you can send me an email saying, leave your comments there. Okay? And also, if anybody knows my address, they can write to me too. Thank you so much for being with me. I love you all. Till next time.